Hi, I'm Don Carr, and this is the Neo Instruments Ventilator 2. This is a full-on simulation of a Leslie 122, which is a really famous rotary speaker cabinet, and every detail is captured. It's really very specific. So let's get into it. So beneath this nicely recessed row of knobs here, which is great so you don't accidentally kick them while you're working the foot switch, you can see that each knob has a double function. In normal mode, the top row, which is in orange, is the active control. And when you hold down the bypass switch and the slow fast switch, that's how you activate the bottom row of controls. So this is a really deep pedal with a lot of functions in it, so let's kind of get into it. So there's also three switches. We have a bypass, which obviously turns the unit off and on. We have a stop, which basically stops the rotating speaker from spinning. So you're still getting the sound of the cabinet and you're getting the sound of the Leslie amp, of course all simulated, but it's in the stop position with the rotors or speakers facing forward. This is the slow fast, which is another Leslie feature. You have the rotors turning at a slow speed and the rotors turning at a fast speed, and you can preset both of those speeds. And what the lights show you are the speed of the two separate rotors, the low rotor and the high rotor. The low rotor is indicated by this light moving at this speed, and the high rotor is indicated by this light moving at this speed. So you can kind of see what kind of sound you're going to get basically based on that. We're obviously in fast mode because you can see them blinking pretty fast. If I hit the switch, it slows down to slow mode, and you can see them slowing down. So again, this thing is super tweaky. I'll try to get through all these pretty quick so you can see what it does. The top row, this knob controls the fast speed. So let's get it back up to fast speed here. Give it a listen. So that's the speed of both rotors at the fast setting, okay? This next control is the balance control, and what that does is balances between the two rotors, the top one and the bottom one. See, that's the bottom rotor, darker, bassier. This will be the top rotor. Brighter, treblier. So, in the middle, get the best of both. Right, this next is called drive, which there's an amp in a Leslie 122, and basically what this is doing is driving the amp a little bit harder. Like if you were cranking the amp up, it starts to grind, starts to break up some. It's pretty slight, but it is noticeable. Obviously adds volume as well. These last two knobs simulate the mic distance from the rotors. That's how far you have the mic away or close to the rotors. So let's listen. Let's turn the balance all the way to the low rotor so we can hear that. See, it pulses a little more as you move the mic in closer, right? So the same thing for the high. Let's flip it over to the high side. Listen to that. Okay. So it's virtually moving the mic in and out. So now we're going to access the secondary functions. As you can see, it starts with slow speed, so I've gone ahead and put it in slow speed. So to access the secondary functions, hold down these two knobs simultaneously, and there we go. So this is the control for the slow speed. And it's creeping along. Okay, so here it is. So that's pretty cool. If you notice, if you remember from the fast speed, slow speed settings, you can get them both pretty close if you want. So there's not really an overlap, but if you want the slow setting just a little bit slower than the fast setting, you can kind of get there. The next control is the acceleration or ramp time, and that's how long it takes to go from slow to fast speed. I mean, you got to remember this is a simulated twirling speaker, right? So they don't just instantly go from one to the other. It takes time to physically move. So you can adjust how long you want that to take. So when you step on the slow or the fast mode, what's going to happen is it's going to take longer to go back and forth. So let's check it out. slow mode, and we've got the acceleration all the way down. Right, so it instantly goes to fast mode. Now, with the acceleration all the way up, we're in fast mode. Let's see how long it takes to get down to slow mode. Right, so you can hear the speakers virtually slowing down. The next control is the mode control, which allows you to optimize it for keyboards or guitar. Like if you're running a keyboard direct, you don't have a guitar amp to create some of that tone of a speaker, so you can put speaker simulation on. I've actually got the speaker simulation off. I mean, I'm still simulating all of the other parts of the Leslie, just not the actual speaker tone. You see on the front panel, you can plug in a foot switch that will allow you to remotely control the functions of the ventilator. And this next control, that's labeled remote, that's what it does. It determines what functions that remote will control. On the front panel, there's a switch for the input level. It says high and low. That's basically like keyboard, guitar. But if you need to fine tune it farther than that, that's what this last control is for. It's a level control. It's an input control, so you're not overloading it. In fact, there's even an overload light just in case you do. We've been listening to the ventilator in mono, but it also runs in stereo. There's also a proprietary power supply, 12 volt, that comes with it. All right, let's hear this thing with some distortion, man. It really sounds great. You get that great rotating speaker effect with the full drive 3. Check it out. All right, the Neo Instruments Ventilator 2. If you have any questions about this or any other Neo Instruments product, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks.